Next, close on demand. What does it mean? Well, I'm sure you know what closing means, but I'll tell you, if you're not a salesperson, closing means to get people to make a decision and move on to the next part of the presentation. To close them is basically they've made a decision to buy the product in some form. That's closing people. How? I will show you in a minute. Only use strong closes when your customer has desire for the product. So remember, we talked about creating desire before. When you have desire, when you've painted the picture, when they show an interest, when they ask any questions, that's the time to close them. A closing question might be, so John and Mary, am I looking at 2 new members today? John and Mary, how would you like to pay, Visa or Access? John and Mary, can you see yourself using this product for you and your company right from now? Those are closing questions, and they say yes, yes and yes, or they'll say no. If they say no, they're not ready yet and need to create more desire. Use open questions, trial closes, tie downs, tell, show, say, which I'll talk about after this one. Your clients will be fully sold when they start to tell themselves the benefits. People believe what they say. They believe you less than what you say. They'll be fully sold when they tell themselves all the benefits of the product. For example, oh yeah, we can do this. We can use it to do that, and then we can use it to do that. What they're doing is then telling themselves and putting themselves in that ownership picture that they really believe that the product will benefit them. You can only communicate the next benefits once you've covered the first benefit. Don't shoot all up front. Use timing in your presentation. Use it properly, use it wisely. Because if you come to halfway through the presentation, you've got nothing left to show them, but you've got all these facts and figures, you are going to lose the sale because you're going to bore them. Techniques. What kind of techniques do we use? Well, I don't know what kind of audience I've got here, but I presume that some people are in sales already. And some of you may have heard of these techniques. Forgive me if you heard of them. But I've been in sales now for 15 years. And I emphasize that you must do the basics. You've got to get back to the basics. It's amazing how quickly, as a salesperson, you can forget the basics. Even if you think you're really good, your sales will go down, you'll ask someone to listen to you, and 9 times out of 10, people will tell you that you're not asking enough questions. You're boring them. You're telling them too much, and they'll switch off. So, techniques. What's an open question? An open question is a question that requires your customer to answer other than a yes or a no. So they can't say yes or no to the question. Such as, where did you come from today? What motivated you to buy this product today? What features do you like about this product? Why would it benefit you as you or as a company? So it's why, when, what, how, where, who. Start your questions with those things. Don't go, is it okay? Can you do that? Because they're yes or no answers. Open questions really open the people up to get more information that you need to close these people. If you don't have the information, you can't close them. It's impossible to do it. So open questions are really the basic, but they're so important. It's amazing how quickly you can forget to ask these questions. Next, trial close. What is a trial close? You know, a lot of people think they know, but they don't. A trial close is an excuse for the customer to make a minor decision. When you first sit down with your customer, you've got to start closing them. For example, would you like tea or coffee? That is a trial close. Would you like sugar or milk? That is a trial close. Because they're making a decision already about what they prefer. Now, I know it's only tea and coffee, but that is irrelevant. Once you get them used to making those decisions, the more decisions they make through the presentation, the closer they will to buy the product. And the closer they are, the easier it will be at the end for you to ask them to buy the product by saying, well, listen, how would you like to pay for this, Visa or Access? Okay, Visa, there you go. If you don't ask them enough questions and they don't make enough decisions through the presentation, and you ask them, well, how would you like to pay Visa or Access? They'll go, oh, no, we can't possibly buy today. We've got to think about it. There's no way we're buying today. When they say that to you, it means that you have not asked them enough trial closes and you've not created enough desire to buy the product. So trial closes is a question that requires them to answer yes or no, to make a decision about the product. The more decisions they make throughout the presentation, the easier it will be for them to buy at the end. Another technique that you might have seen it, you might not have seen it. It's called tell, show, say. Now the tell, show, say technique is basically a very simple technique. I'll give you an example. Let's imagine that you're reading a newspaper today, okay, and you believe most of it's in the newspaper because it's a newspaper, it must be true. Now if I told you that there was an earthquake in your town this morning, if I told you, you probably wouldn't believe me because first of all you didn't feel anything. So you probably think that I was not really telling the truth. Normally, if I told you there was an earthquake in your town, your belief level would be about 10%. If I got a newspaper out and the headline on the newspaper said earthquake in your town this morning, what do you think is going to happen to your belief level? Of course it's going to go up. And it goes up to about 60 or 70% because you've seen it in a newspaper. Then the next stage of belief, conviction of what you're doing here is actually getting your customer to say it. Now when they read the newspaper they say earthquake in the town this morning, what they'll do is, it's the first opportunity they get, they will tell their friends, they will tell their family, they will tell anyone they can because they want to see, oh my God, it's an earthquake. And then everybody in the town will be talking about it. And the belief level goes up and up and up. Even though it may not be true at all, the belief level is at 95%. Now, relating to sales, you've got to show them, you've got to tell them the benefit. This product will save you money. You've got to show them how it saves them money. It saves you, well, it saves you money by, you compare it. If you do it this way, or you do it this way. Now, would you rather use this product and save this much money, or would you rather do what you're doing now? Closing question. Well, we'd rather use this product because it's saving us more money. Exactly. Now, if you don't mind me asking, why would you rather buy this product? Once you ask them why, what they do then is they start to tell themselves the benefits of buying your product. They're selling themselves. And the best salesperson in the world is the one that gets the client to sell themselves on the product. Last technique I want to talk about to you this evening. And I'd wish I had more time, but basically it's called a high gain question. It's a turbo open question. There are several different types. There are emotional questions, there are speculative questions, there are evaluative questions. The emotional question could be, for example, how would you feel if you never ever had the opportunity to take your children on holiday ever again? This is of course if you're selling holidays. It's an emotional question because you're putting a scenario where, gee whiz, we never thought about that. We'd feel really bad. Now when you ask an emotional question like that, it creates urgency to put the product you're selling on top of the list, on top of their priorities, because people have got priorities all over the place, and yours normally is at the bottom of the list. If you ask questions like this, it gets them to stop, it gets them to think, and they'll shift their eyes. And when they're shifting their eyes, it means they're thinking about their answer. If they think about an answer a question that you ask them, it means that's a really good question because they've never been asked that question before, and they start to think about it more, and it starts to become more important to them. A speculative question is this. It's something that in the future they would think about. So for example, how would this product benefit you in the next 5 years? In what ways would it benefit you in the next 5 years? Or what 3 ways would it benefit you in the next 5 years? Then, what they're doing is thinking about the future. And obviously you want these people to buy your product today, but you want them also to come back and buy more products and keep using your products in the future. Therefore, it puts them in that situation of thinking about the future and put it as a priority for you. Next is evaluative. This is really analysis. Tell me 3 ways this product would benefit you right now. They think about today. They think about now. They put themselves in a customer's, they put themselves in a buying position because they're thinking about the benefits. And they will tell you the benefits. If they don't answer the question, ask the question again. But a little bit more tonality, a little bit more enthusiasm. Please, 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 please do not answer the question for them, because that is being weak. If you answer the question for them, forget about it. Don't even bother asking the question. If they don't answer, ask the question again and wait for them to answer. Thank you very much for listening. You've been an outstanding audience, and I look forward to your questions. If you want to know more, because I've only had half an hour this evening to tell you very, very important principles. I am doing a seminar on the 21st of July in Penang in Malaysia. It's a one-day seminar. It is absolutely outstanding. We talk about all the techniques. We talk about real-life situations. We do live sales presentations. We tear you apart and put you back together again, and I guarantee that you will improve your sales by at least 30% if you attend that seminar, if you adopt all the principles, or your money back. It's only 165 ringgit for the whole day. It is amazing. If you want to know more about that seminar, you can go to www.awesomelearning.com/sales. Please, 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 if you can make it, get yourself down there, because it's not a lot of money at all. And the benefits you will get from that seminar are quite outstanding, that you can adapt to your everyday sales presentations, whatever you're doing. So again, it's www.awesomelearning.com/sales. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
Yes, we have a first question from Lee from Singapore. You talk about using humor in your presentation, but what if I am not naturally gifted at humor?
Excellent question. Excellent question. If you're not talented or you're not gifted, I mean, let me ask you a question. I'm sure that you have laughed at something that you've seen in your life. If you're not comfortable by telling jokes, just smile. Go. The smile is a wonderful thing. And once you keep smiling, the people in front of you will start smiling. If you drop down to their level and they're not very happy, then you will drop down to the level and you're not going to achieve much. Keep smiling all the time, even if it's not going well. Keep smiling in a sincere way. It's amazing how much it can lift you. Hey, come on, let's have a good time. It breaks the pattern of that sort of thing that you're in. But great question. Thanks for the question.
Okay, second question is Cecilia from Indonesia. How can you know what closing techniques will be the most effective with a particular person?
Excellent question. It really depends on the situation that you've got in front of you. Now, I have not got time today to go through every single technique and every single question that you can ask. But basically, once you're used to it, and once you've built you need to build a repertoire of closing questions and open-ended questions. And you'll feel it's the right time to ask it. Remember I said before, you've got to create desire. Once you've got desire, really, any closing question will do then. For example, can you see yourself using this product? Can you see yourself using this product today? It's a very harmless, great closing question when you've built desire. Thank you for the question. Great question.
Okay, Ronnie from Singapore. How can one build the rapport when the other party is closed up and it is not open?
Okay, excellent question, and I've been exactly where you've been. If your customer is not open, you've got a problem. Because if you don't open those people up, they're not going to buy from you. It really is as simple as that. And you know that because you've probably had that before. To open these people up, you've got to ask them open questions. As many open questions as you can, and you've got to ask them strongly. You've got to ask them sincerely. And you've got to ask them with enthusiasm. You've got to be strong and stay strong. Don't come down to the level, stay here. Eventually they will answer your questions. A second tip for you, if you're not getting much joy, it's still difficult, pay them a compliment. Say, oh, that's a really nice tie you wear, where did you get that from? But when you're paying a compliment, be sincere with it. Pay them compliments as much as you can, but don't over compliment them. Pay them compliments. Let them see that you mean what you're saying. Get on their level. Ask them questions about where did you get that tie? That's really nice. Have a look at that. Wow, that's so nice. Get them talking, build a communication. You've got to act very interested in those people, even if you don't like them at first. Because if they're not talking to you, you probably won't like them at first. But you've got to show them that you're totally interested in them. Don't give up. If you give up, forget it. Keep going and going and going. But thank you for a great question. That was excellent.
Ken from Singapore. What things can you look for that will let you know if your sales pitch is making progress or not?
Okay, as I said before in the presentation that I gave, by using the techniques that I'm talking about today, if they are interested, they will use body language. They will start to come forward in their chair, first of all. They'll be more focused on what you're saying. They will start to ask you questions. If they ask you a question, if they give you an objection, even if it's a negative objection, it is a buying signal. It's a buying sign. It means it's the right time to close these people on the product. Even if they're saying, well, I probably couldn't use your product because of this and this and this. That is still a buying sign because they're listening to you. What you've got to do then is overcome the objection. So basically, when they ask you a question, it's a buying sign. If they're like this, they're not interested. You've got to find a way to get them interested. But hey, that was a great question. Thank you very much indeed. Next question.
We have a question from Alice from China. What are the most common mistakes people make in sales?
Oh, there's so many. Too many to mention, but if I could narrow it down, the most common mistakes, number one is that people give up. They prejudge and believe that people will not buy the product because they're not very nice people. That's the biggest mistake you can make. And I'll tell you something now. A lot of people can get 3 or 4 no's in a presentation. It's the people who get 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10 no's are the people who are very successful and make a lot of money. And not because they're being unethical, but because they are being persistent, because they know that that person will benefit in the end. The other common mistakes are not asking questions. You've got to ask as many questions as you can to your customers. Do not go, this product does this and this product does this and it's fantastic, because you run out of breath, you'll run out of energy, and you'll get nowhere, and the people will get bored. Ask them questions, sit back and listen to them. That is what you've got to do. But excellent. Use that and you'll be very good.
Darren from Malaysia. In what ways do customers reveal their needs?
They only reveal their needs if you ask them questions. You've got to ask them questions. Remember the question I asked before. If I gave you $1 million today and you had to spend it on the house of your dreams today, you cannot spend it on anything else, what kind of house would you buy? Where would you have it? What facilities would you have? Blah, 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 blah. The questions you have to ask are where you're going to find out the needs. If you don't ask the questions, you will not find out. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Rani. What should you do if your customer begins to lose interest?
Okay, excellent question again. If they begin to lose interest, obviously you know they're losing interest. You need to break the pattern of the presentation. It probably means that you've been doing too much talking and you've not been asking enough questions. So you stop the presentation and you say to them, listen, I can see you're bored right now, but let me ask you a question. From what you've seen so far, why would you not buy this product? Use reverse psychology. Get them to tell you why they wouldn't buy it. At least they're talking to you and you've got their attention again. And then you can start creating desire and find out where you need to create desire to buy the product. You need to paint the picture, you need to ask them questions. But excellent question, thank you.
Brando from Singapore. What are the most effective places for making a sales?
That's a good question. What are the most effective places? I presume you mean the best atmosphere, the best environment? To be honest with you, I would say there's no real answer to that because I've made sales outside, inside, in cars, in nightclubs, all over the place. There really is no perfect place, but I suppose what you must have as less distractions as possible, basically. You need to get their focus and you need to be focused on them. So you need an environment where they can listen to you and that you can listen to them. So think of an environment you can take them. doesn't have to be an office. Do you know what? The problem with offices is that people feel restricted in offices because it's too businesslike, it's too formal. Most of my biggest deals have come about because I've met people outside and on a social basis, so I've got rapport with them, and then we start talking about it and we start closing the deal that way. That is where people start to make decisions, is when they're having fun and there's no pressure. But great question, thank you.
Okay. Marwan from Indonesia. I am new in sales. Can you give me some pointers on how to get started?
Be enthusiastic. Don't give up. There is always a way to be successful. Remember, you get more no's, use it as a challenge. Use it as a challenge to really improve yourself. And ask questions. Learn to ask questions. I'll tell you one brief thing before we finish. When you meet someone in a bar, whether it be a girl or a boy, and you really fancy them, you really think they're really attractive, and you're really nervous, and you really want to meet them, and you meet them, and you ask them all these questions, and they ask you all those questions, that's the kind of excitement that you need to build with your customers. So imagine that your customers are really attractive and you need to get to know them, that they're going to really help you and focus on them. These are the secrets really to really being successful in sales. Don't give up. Be enthusiastic. Be really passionate about what you're doing. Really passionate. You know, it's all about what you're doing. You've got to succeed. Don't give up. Have drive and persist with what you're doing.
Our last question here. What is the best way to improve your skill in sales?
Well, tonight I've talked about lots of different ways to improve your skills, but the main thing, the main driving force, and this counts for over 50% of every sale you make, is the enthusiasm that you have about the product and about yourself. In fact, it counts for over 55%. If you have enthusiasm and you have belief in what you're doing, you're over halfway there. So please get that right first. Because people will see that you are enthusiastic, and they see that you believe in the product. And if you believe in the product, then those people will start to see that you care about them because you think it will benefit them. That's the main driving force. But a good question. But there's lots of other things as well that we've also talked about.